willing to be a beginner is what I'm hearing you say. Like, be willing to say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to put life, and that's life experience. I mean, like that you can talk about, we always say, like, you can read a book on swimming, you can talk about swimming, you can practice swimming, but you don't actually swim until you get in the water.
In this episode, Courtney and I sit down with Cody Askins, speaker, author, and founder of 8% Nation. Cody also founded the 8% movement and hosts insurance industry's largest event, the 8% Nation Conference. Cody owns and operates 8 companies totaling more than $20 million in annual revenue and has amassed over 90,000 subscribers on YouTube. With that being said, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Courtney and Michael Weaver, and we have a special guest with us today, Cody Askins, Mr. 8% himself. Cody, how you doing today, my man?
What is up? Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
He's also a fellow Missouri boy.
Hell yes.
So we are like high.
West in the house. Let's go.
High today.
We could have done this in person.
We totally could have. Like, we're not that far. All right. I want to jump right in. You said the Mr. 8% himself. What is the 8% Club, Cody? Talk to us about it.
So 92% of insurance agents fell in their first 3 years, and we built a brand and a conference around helping agents pretty much not suck.
When's the conference? When is it?
July 20th, 21st, and 22nd of this year in Dallas.
Perfect.
All right. I want to jump right there because you said 92% of insurance agents fail within year 0 to 3. Mm-hmm. Let's start there. Why?
I mean, you could give a lot of like examples, but really, the true answer is they don't see and ask enough people to, do business with them, right? Mm-hmm. And so most people struggle to get in front of people, or when they do get, or their upline teaches them how to get in front of people, but then doesn't tell them what to say, And so most agents are like totally alone, and they're on their own island, and they're just like, I don't know what to do, and they're not like. It's interesting. A lot of people, some people are entrepreneurs, some people are intrapreneurs, right? You are natural entrepreneurs. You could tell like in the first 8 seconds of us talking, right? But a lot of people are not. Some people are intrapreneurs, and they think they're an entrepreneur, but they're really not, and they should be finding an organization to plug in and work for. And what I mean by that is most insurance agents, to be successful, I had to get creative. I had to cold call, I had to door knock. Like I just had to do whatever it took to succeed and win. And for whatever reason, a decent chunk of personalities just aren't built that way.
So when you say, because this is good, I actually just read something on entrepreneur versus intra the other day. So for anyone listening, can you dive into that just a little bit? Like what you mean by an intrapreneur versus an entrepreneur?
Yes. So an intrapreneur is someone that is working inside of another company. So as an example, I've got a bunch of intrapreneurs really in my office. Intrapreneurs that made 200,000, 100,000, on the operational team that are like incredible at film and do really well and produce our shows. Like they're definitely intrapreneurs. Some of them have some entrepreneurial spirit to them too, right? Which is good. But most people think, you know what? I've got to be the boss. I got to be the CEO. I got to be, I got to be the one getting sued all the time and put up with all the problems, all the other crap, right? You really don't. And the most personalities. So I'll give you an example. When we hire people, we use a personality assessment called the DISC, right? Which you probably heard of. Yeah. DISC. D's like, driven, eccentric, kind of crazy, risk taker. I's like more influential, persuasive, but they're like life of the party. S is more like, I think of it more like service related. C's like more compliance and computers and that kind of stuff. I am a high D, high I, and there's like 15 different personality types. And my type is called the dynamo. I said recently, you should have called it like the psycho, but I am meant to be doing this, where a lot of personalities, like, they can evolve and improve over time, but it doesn't mean like they were wired differently or created wrong. It's just like, that's your personality. That's who you are, And so it's interesting. Most people are like, you know what? I want to be like that person. Yeah, but their personality may never be like that person, And so they need to just be true to them, be the best version of them, and be authentic to themselves, whether they're inside succeeding somewhere or whether they're creating the box themselves.
Yeah. I love that you say that, and I want to dive into this a little bit more too, because you said in the very beginning, getting in front of people and exposure. Have you seen both sides of the coin, the intra and the entrepreneur, do this well, or do you have to coach one more than the other?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So most of the people that we're working with exposure related are entrepreneurs, like they're agency owners. So there's multitude of things that we do, but a lot of the brand, I didn't expect this, but over time as the brand has grown to now we have hundreds of thousands of agents that like watch our content and follow us online. It's grown into agencies wanting to do stuff with us. Like we have a virtual conference coming up on Friday called 8% Virtual. We had 1,765 agents log in last year. We'll have more this year for that virtual event. We have our Ultimate Agent reality show, which we talked about before, where we have mentors coming and actually hanging out and being a part of the show. Well, those individuals are wanting to be a part of the stuff we're doing because they want to leverage our platform, be in front of our audience, and then attract the right people to them. And so that's where the brand's kind of grown over time from just sales training or just consulting into also partnering with other agencies to help them get exposure and to grow their team. Because in insurance, you're either selling or recruiting, right?
At all times.
There ain't much else, right? You're either selling policies or recruiting people to sell. And a lot of people struggle to sell insurance naturally. But then there's a lot that are good at selling insurance, but they really struggle to scale and build a team. And so then that's where we come in to put them in front of a lot of people to attract the right people to them.
So when you say agencies, are you working with every person in the organization to build their own unique brand that kind of sits inside of the ecosystem of the brand? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's less like hands-on. Like I'm not, in here editing their TikTok and posting for them. Like I'm teaching them and encouraging them to do that on their own because I think they should. But I'm more like, hey, jump on our YouTube channel, jump on our podcast, which doesn't have as many episodes as Insurance Buzz, or go, come hang out with us, or go to Puerto Rico with us, or jump on the jet, or speak, or whatever, right? And so we're more like collaborating, more of a partnership, and doing things together in front of our platform so that they can get some exposure.
I think that's incredible.
No, that is. And so
Thanks.
Since we're talking about this, I'd like to go into the struggles, like the most common struggles you're seeing within, whether it's an agency owner or maybe it's somebody that's in an agent's office. Like, what are you seeing as the most common struggles, and maybe even some struggles you've went through yourself? You've been there, you've done it. I'd love to hear some struggles maybe you've even encountered and how you've overcame them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the main struggle agents have first off is getting in front of people. Mm-hmm. It's prospecting. It's finding a way to, so example, when I was 19, I was an intern, and then I decided to join the industry at 20. When I was 20, I was in college playing basketball at Little Baptist Bible College in Springfield, Missouri, taking 21 credit hours a semester. Didn't have a lot of experience, didn't really know what to do, but I knew I needed to get in front of people. And I made a decision to make six figures my first year while I was in college. And so I was like, what can I do? I got creative, and I brought over college students from the college, and I gave them like scripts and a cubicle and a phone and a data list and all this stuff. And I bought them pizza and gave them little gift cards and little spiffs for setting appointments. I would dial with them, and I would actually create like a call night, and then we would all like cold call and set appointments. And I'd leave there with 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 appointments for the week. And my whole week was like booked and full. Now they weren't the best appointments because they were cold call set by some random college kid. However, it was a creative way for me to like fill up a calendar and to get in front of people when I know that most agents struggle to get in front of people. And so that's one piece, is like leveraging getting in front of people. And then there's the other piece where they're okay at like booking appointments to get in front of people, but when they do get in front of them, they just have no clue what to say, right? Like, they're not a natural born salesperson. They've never sold before, you know what I mean? Like just building rapport and locating a problem, offering a solution is kind of foreign to them.
So the person that doesn't like to cold call, how are they getting in front of more people?
Yeah, and it varies by whether we're talking life, health, P&C, Medicare, mortgage protection, final expense, all that. It's just
the thousands of products that you can offer as an insurance professional.
Products, carriers, whatever, right? It's insane. Yeah. That's also a big piece. Like, this is the Insurance Buzz. That's one of the big reasons why the insurance, agents struggle so much, is there's 4 million ways to succeed. And there's so I believe more companies should have like a pre-built system that agents can plug into and just, hey, we all do this. Well, why do we do this? Well, because Jerry, Betty, and Sue, like, they just made six figures doing this, so you're going to do it now too.
Yeah.
You're not going to like reinvent the wheel. This is what you're doing. And that's not the case in a lot of places, but I think it should be more.
Man, I love that you bring that up, and I couldn't agree more, because it's when you're widespread like that, when you have 100 different products to offer, there's no way. I mean, it complicates everything.
No.
How can you, as the insurance professional, simplify what you do? So, like, we work with a lot of P&C and life agents. So that's the three Kingsmen that we focus on. It's just PC life. Like, yeah, you may offer pet insurance, but who gives a shit? Like, focus on what matters the most.
I care. I have 2 dogs and a cat, yo. Like, we care about that.
I have 2 dogs. I like one a lot. I don't like one a lot. So
Oh, no. I'm so glad they're not listening right now. Like, shame from the dad.
My wife knows, by the way. We've got a new one, Coco. It's a little mini golden doodle, barks to everything, whines, poops everywhere. It just drives me nuts. But the other one,
because he knows he's driving you crazy. He's like, man, I'm just gonna lay a turd on the floor for dad, dude.
Correct. So, but I got little Teddy, Maltese Bichon, that I love. But he's 9 years old, doesn't give me any problems, and it's awesome. So,
he knows what's up. So to your point, though, focusing on the things that make the biggest impact and create the biggest ripple for your income as well in insurance. So you talked about exposure. You didn't answer my question, though. Like,
I'm good at that.
You dodged it because, okay, here's why I say this. We were cold callers, and in the Midwest, in a low premium market, like, we had to get really creative because
we were broke. We were broke as
we
shit.
were poor. Like we had just gotten married. There was no money to throw at internet leads, so we were not going to light dollar bills on fire. So what do you suggest? And I know you talk a lot about branding, but if somebody's out there and they're like, yeah, I don't want to cold call, what's your next best? Like, okay, this is how you get as much exposure to the ideal client. And I think that's an important thing to say there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to succeed. I mean, we'd have a whole marketing company that can help people with this kind of stuff, but also, like, they could learn to generate their own leads. My dad, even a while back, created his own networking group and went and got like all the top professions in the city together, and they network once a week, and he writes like $1 million a year off that one group. You could be getting direct mail leads and door knocking. I mean, the key is, like, what I learned is, no matter what you're doing, as long as you book 15 appointments and ask 10 people to buy insurance from you every week, it doesn't matter how you did it, how you get in front of people, or what you did. And you could do that part-time in a lot of cases, by the way, full transparency. But when I was a new agent, I talked about this a little bit earlier, like, I made $117,000 in my first 8 months at 20 while I was in college playing basketball. And it's because I sat down and I asked 10 people to buy life insurance from me every week. I don't care if it was literally cold door knocking at 9:30 at night. It didn't matter. Or cold calling at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. I did whatever it took to see and ask those 10.
Yes.
Keeping it simple.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And you bring up the point that I'm so glad that you hit home on. It's people. Like, you have to talk to people, whether it's in a networking group, whether it's on the internet, whether it's in real life, whether it's on the phone. It's always going to be people. And I want to...
Just not people, but meaningful conversations.
Yeah, quality conversations.
I mean, you can send out 10, 20, 30 quotes a day to internet leads and never have an actual conversation. And I think that, personally, I think that's a waste of time. Like, if you're not actually talking to someone asking for the sell, it's not a quote. Like, that's not a conversation. You're not doing anything besides being a product pusher.
So let's get into advice, because you said that's another thing, like laying the blueprint. And as much as I love great advice, I like hearing the advice that you're like, man, I wish I would not have taken that. I wish I wouldn't have listened to that. Tell me some of the worst advice you've ever received.
Some of the worst advice I've ever received. You know what? I don't love. I mean, there's a lot of areas my brain is going. There's a lot of people that are like, don't invest in your business. Like, make sure it works first. And it's like, dude, I'm not going to know if it works unless I invest in it. You know, I'm someone that will take risk. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I will do whatever it takes to succeed. Right? I don't care how much money I got to throw at it, how much money I got to light on fire. Right? Whatever. Easier said than done. There's also a big kind of like phrase out there of like, hey, fake it till you make it. You know, I'm someone that's like, dude, I want to be authentic to me. I want to be me. And you know what? I want to make it my way, you know, without having to fake it. Because I believe I would rather tell somebody, dude, I don't know the answer, you know, or how long you've been doing this. It's funny. People will say like, dude, you just act like you've been doing this forever. Yeah, but I haven't. You know, like I just started last week. It's funny. I jumped on a call for one of our sales reps downstairs earlier, and they're like, I was like, what do you think of Steven? He's like, man, he was doing great. I'm like, you know what day he's on? He's like, I don't know. What do you mean day? He's probably been there years. He's smooth. I'm like, it's his first day. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, and I'm on the phone to help him out and get him his first deal. He's like, okay, cool. Let's do it. You know, well, dude, people respect honesty, transparency, vulnerability. Like if it's your first day, also, I'm more likely to let you in my house to spend more time with you and buy from you if it's your first day than your 10th year. I just am, because I want to help somebody out, right? I'm like, as an example, I would be more likely to give a homeless person money if they went reverse psychology on me, right? Not like, you know what, I'm just like, you know, this is for my kid, you know, who's got cancer. You know, it's like, who knows, right? I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case, so that nobody has cancer in this instance, but you get the idea. Or it could be, you know what, hey, I love beer, and I'm going to use the next dollar to buy another beer. Like, now, I may not give to it, but I'll respect it more.
Nope.
Completely agree. Integrity. Like if you just be honest, be transparent. If you are new, be willing to be a beginner is what I'm hearing you say. Like be willing to say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to put life, and that's life experience. I mean, like that you can talk about, we always say, like you can read a book on swimming, you can talk about swimming, you can practice swimming, but you don't actually swim until you get in the water. And I think that's what you're hitting home on here.
It's funny. On that note, I thought I was a good swimmer. I did an Ironman a couple years ago, and I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. I swam as a kid. I can swim across, you know, I can swim out around the water, whatever. Dude, I learned I didn't actually have. I thought I was gonna be fine. I learned I didn't know how to swim. Like I knew how to swim, but not with proper stroke. Like I was trying to swim with my head up, like a paddling like a dog, right? And I'm like, dude, you can't swim 1.2 miles in the ocean doing that. And
with people everywhere.
Yes. And so I had to set my ego inside and say, you know what I'm going to do, to your guys' note, I'm going to hire a swim coach who actually can teach me what the freak I'm supposed to be doing. Where most agents would be like, dude, I'll figure it out, man. I'll just fight harder. No, you can't swim a mile with your head out of the water. It is like impossible. Like it's just not going to work. And so that can translate to, you know, I believe agents should also be putting their ego aside, admit when they don't know stuff. Don't act like you know it, and just ask for help.
Yeah. Hire it out. Yeah. Find the person that's already done it and condense your time. And they've already gone through. They've learned all the lessons. If you ever need that again, Michael and I were both lifeguards. So we are definitely here to help you. Like the whole red trunk situation, like we're in it. It's a Baywatch moment. We can make it.
I look slightly different than Dwayne Johnson, but
little
pretty much
close. We were actually
very
lifeguards.
similar. Very similar. But you do say you do 100 squats a day.
dude,
so
100 push-ups, 100 squats a day, just
your
like
thighs may look just like The Rock, bro. I don't know
They
yet.
do. He's got the juiciest.
You're sitting
booty.
down. I can't even tell.
Oh man.
But I do have hair, so I'll take it. So,
You're
know.
not
There we
bald
go.
like
He may have more muscles, but I got hair.
and money. Like the dude's making it.
Muscles, money. I heard like women are into the bald dude thing, you know. So I don't know.
I can't speak on that. I got a full head of hair that I married, so we're all into it. All right, get focused.
Get focused. All right, let's do this.
Skill set. You said the skill set and learning new things. What do you think if you had to go back? And I want you to go back to 21-year-old Cody and be like, Cody, this is what you need to learn right now in the insurance industry as you're getting started. What would you tell yourself?
12 years ago. I'm old now. I'm 32.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
started that, and we're like, nah, you better pipe down.
You loved that when I started
Yeah,
before
I
we even
loved
jumped
it.
on the
It's
podcast.
great. Yeah.
Gosh. You know what's interesting? I was actually giving this advice on my YouTube channel on Saturday. I was sitting there doing a 7-minute video before I walked in to see Creed 3 at Alamo Theater here in Springfield.
How was it?
Which was good.
Okay.
Which was good. It wasn't as good as the first two because they kind of drug out the storyline. The first two were great, but it was still worth seeing. So there you go.
Okay, like
and
it.
they did 100 million in the box office this weekend. But you didn't ask me a question about Creed, so I'll move on to what you asked me.
No, I do want to see it, so I'm glad that you dropped that in there. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we will
it was
support
good.
Michael
It
B.
was
Jordan
good.
and the whole bit. Yep, love it.
Exactly. I love it. Back to muscles and money. You know,
Muscle and money, yeah.
So
That's the
I was-
key. That's what you would tell yourself.
That's it. That's what I would tell myself, dude. More
You need
muscles,
more
more
muscles,
money.
bro. No.
And looking at me 12 years ago, even now, it's like, dude, more muscles. Yeah. Okay? More money, dude, I would have took it, right? I would say that, like, literally the serious advice I would give, even though that's actually great, both are great advices because health matters and finances are really important.
Yeah.
But another advice I would give is that we underestimate what we can do in a year. We overestimate what we can do in a day, a week, a month, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. And like, I made 170 grand in a year, but I did it in 8 months, and it felt easy. And what I mean by that is I could have done it sooner, or I could have made the target bigger. And so now we're doing a bunch of crazy stuff that I never dreamed we'd be doing. But it's because we're, like, striving for more and realizing that I don't like to be complacent. I don't like to sit still. And so no matter what age somebody is, like, you can do way more in a year if you really, really focus, you know what I mean? And like, buckle down. You can do way more in a year than you ever dream.
I love that. Overestimate a day, underestimate your year. So let's dive into that a little bit. So you have a lot going on. You own 8 different companies. You're traveling all over.
You want one or two?
No, we're getting rid of.
I think you got rid of some.
We just got rid of 3 last year.
I'll give you 3 more. I'll give you 3.
Hang
on, we'll give you this one, this one. Oh yeah, this one too.
It's like Oprah with the cars.
How are you? Like, how are you organizing? How are you making sure that you're as efficient as possible? Because that's one thing where I see even myself sometimes really struggle with all the shit going on during the day. As an agency owner, everyone deals with it. So what are you doing to make sure that you're as efficient as possible with your day?
Yeah, I didn't used to stick by a calendar well. I also have a team that is like incredible at keeping me on task and making sure we're accomplishing projects. I would say one big one is actually the health piece translates into like actual business organization and just efficiency really well. So I'll give you an example. Last Monday, a week ago, I was like frustrated and ticked off, and I was having a terrible attitude, and I thought life was going to end, whatever, right? I needed to just chill out and grow up, but that was the truth, right? We all have those days. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was because I didn't work out. I didn't like jump on the treadmill. I didn't get my push-ups in, none of that morning. Well, then literally the next day I go see my trainer, and he just kicks my butt, just destroys me. And then I'm in like this amazing mood the rest of the day. And I look back and I'm like, what was the difference? Well, one day I didn't get up and move and get the stress out. Because if you're like a personality like me, that psycho or dynamo, whichever way you call it, you have to relieve the stress. You have to push it out. Like you have to move. And I get way more accomplished because I move quicker. My brain moves quicker. And I'm just happier when I start my day off that way. Most people be like, I don't know about that one. Oh my gosh, it's insane how valuable that one thing can be just to kick off my day.
Let's talk about that. What is your a perfect morning routine? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would say I get up about perfect morning routine. Get about 5:30. Get up and write down my goals, tasks, things I'm thinking about doing. Go to the gym. And this is perfect, not every day, but perfect, right? We talked about transparency. Go to the gym, trainer just kills me. And then I'm listen to something on the way back home, whether it be TD Jakes or a YouTube video, or I'm learning something. And then I'm finishing a shower with a couple minutes of ice cold water at the end of the shower. And then I'm going back to work, listening to something, get my mind focused. And then I'm running through Starbucks, mobile order, picking up a grande ice shaken espresso with 2 pumps classic syrup, and then I'm here by about 7:30.
There we go, man.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so out of all of that, and that's perfect morning routine, and I think that's great. I even love that you're fighting the good fight with the Starbucks. You rattled that off. Here we go. What's your non-negotiables? Not a perfect morning routine. These things, as long as I get these done, bare minimum, I'm feeling great. What's that look like?
Yeah, I've got to work out or get 20 to 30 minutes on a treadmill, and I feel really phenomenal. I've got to listen to something positive that I'm learning and soaking up some good stuff in my brain. And then I'm typically I'm getting some type of caffeine. Normally it's a grande ice shaking espresso with 2 pumps of classic syrup from Starbucks, but you get the idea. I said that again just for you, right?
Thank you.
That's at bare minimum, like that's most days for me, you know.
Okay. How you like them cold showers? You do it every day?
I don't do it like I used to. It's in my book, and I used to do it every day. It's funny. Here's some transparency. Two things that I used to do every day that I don't do as much every day now, and I've kind of got reasons why. One is the cold shower. I would like to actually have a cold tub and do that more. Mm-hmm. I just end up being busy and forget, and then just don't. Right? We're human. It happens. Second piece is writing down my goals every day, because I used to write down. It's good and it's kind of good and bad. Like some days writing down these incredibly massive goals of having office towers and jets and helicopters and islands, whatever else, whatever is, or I'm voting for Michael Weaver for president, like all the above, right? It's just great. Or
I still got age a little bit, but
let's go, man.
It's not happening. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not.
I mean, you're getting old, but you still got time.
Hey, I'm only a few years older than you. 33 for the third time, baby.
They're like, we are never having this guy back on our podcast.
No, I love it. It's great. It's just for the Starbucks order. That's what.
I've got to have. I can tell you this. Like, I have to have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Money follows fun.
Yes, more people should have more fun.
Yes.
We just should. And then the goals thing, like I can write down massive goals, but there's some days I just need to write down that I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to accomplish this, and I'm going to accomplish this. And I'm going to get them done, And so, it's cool for people like, I believe in vision boards and thinking big and all this stuff. I totally believe in it big time. But I also believe in an agent, before they're worried about having a jet, like let's dial the phone 100 times, or let's book 3 appointments, or let's see somebody, or let's just show up to the office for at least 60 minutes at a time, like let's do something. And so I think that can keep us on task as well.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I am that psycho personality, so I 100% relate. So when I look at like the big
I felt it, by the way.
Yeah.
I felt it.
As I'm chugging an energy drink as you're talking about your Starbucks order.
I was wondering what you were drinking off to the side of the camera.
Yeah. For sure. It's either LaCroix or an energy drink. Like I own the L in LaCroix. Like this is where we're at. But when I am right there with you, like I'm a huge manifester. I'm all about taking action towards your goals. But sometimes when I look at those, and I'm curious if you're the same way, I can go one of two ways. I can either get overwhelmed, or I can start going into comparison on like, why is this taking so long? Like what's happening here? Do you ever feel like that?
Ding, ding.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. You hit something that like drives my wife nuts, because I wake up, if you look at like the disc again, high D, they wake up frustrated, like they've never accomplished anything in their life and they're running out of time. And it drives my wife nuts, because I look back and I'm like, we should be way farther. What the freak is going on? What the heck's wrong with us? Like, you know what I mean? And she's like, will you just take a chill pill? Like, Grant Cardone's 64. You're 32. You've been doing this for like 5 years. Will you shut up? Like, look at your life. Look at all the stuff you have. Look at the team. Look at the companies that you do or don't want, depending on the day. Just look at our life, Like, we just bought 10 acres. We're going to build a house. Like, she's like, shut up and chill out, you know? And so she brings me back to reality in a good way and says, hey, shut up and go to work, And so, which I need that every now and then. Yeah,
you have to. It takes as long as it takes.
It's so hard. Man, I feel so seen and heard right now, and I didn't even have to say anything. This is
Let's go.
Like, it's because you're right. Like we talk about this all the time. We continue to move the goalposts and we accomplish something, but we never take the time to actually, I don't know, like be like, holy shit, we just accomplished this. This is amazing. No, we accomplished it, and it's like, okay, well, what's next? What can we do next?
Yeah. But I think and I'll just speak for myself here. For me, I don't want to get to the end of my life and not have used everything I was given. Like every ounce of like anything that I have, to use it for good, to service other people, to grow, to reach my potential, to help others reach my, like, I just don't want to get to the end of my life. So that's my thing, is like, hey, we're all going to die at some point. So let's get to moving on the things that we're really passionate about. And so I understand where you're at.
How does that feel like when you get to your mid to late 30s? Does that feel different?
Ouch. All right.
It feels the same. I just told you 33 for the third time, man.
Are you 33?
35.
No. I'm not going to say I'm 30. I'll say I'm 33 for the, what is that?
Fifth time?
Fifth
I don't
time?
know. I've lost count.
We both just had birthdays.
Okay, good. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. They're getting me back. This is good.
Yeah.
This is fun. I got to listen to the Insurance Buzz more. I'm going to put it out there. Y'all are a blast, and I like this.
Thank you.
But you know what we have on you with age? We have a little bit of wisdom, all right? So,
True.
you know.
That comes with crow's feet. Wisdom and crow's feet.
Wisdom and crow's feet, yeah.
That's what we
all right,
have.
let's, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but let's dive into it a little bit. So technology, like how are you utilizing technology, or what are you seeing the most successful individuals you're working with, how they're utilizing technology to help benefit their business?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, in the insurance industry is naturally typically behind. Mm-hmm. You know, average age of an agent is 59. You know, we're just old fashioned. We're old school. We're all really young compared to the industry. Okay. How about that? Yeah. Which is fun. You know, it's cool. You know what's interesting? I was on a forum, professionals forum in Nashville, Tennessee 2 weeks ago. And I was speaking on stage, and I spoke, and then the next day they did like this Sports Center style, like 8-person panel where they had us like argue with each other and, you know, all this stuff, which was fun. And I was way the youngest by far at that. But they had this, one guy was like, one guy's like, social media is dumb and like Chat GPT is never going to make it and it's like stupid. And I'm like, dude, are you joking right now? I'm like, I would have to have 2 copywriters paying them $60,000 each minimum if it wasn't for Chat GPT. Like I would pay them whatever they wanted. Like our whole team's using it for emails, ad copies, you know, social media, freaking writing emails back for formal proposals for speakers, like in just wild stuff, right? And the industry needs social media more because it's 2023. It's the world we live in. There's over 1 billion people on TikTok. You know, like you know what I mean. Like if it wasn't for YouTube, we wouldn't know each other. I wouldn't have any of this. You know, and so I'm a big believer in tech, but I'm a big believer in like not just like the basic agency technology stuff, but like leveraging online technology, social media, AI, etc., to run a business and for get people to know you.
Social media is that's how we built our agency, because again, we were super poor. So we cold called, we had Google, and we had Facebook, and we just went hard on those 3 things, and it worked.
Well, you wanted to create a brand, and I think in the insurance industry, we're selling an intangible product. We're selling ourselves, we're selling a service, we're selling a promise of like security and financial, whatever that looks like. So branding yourself for us was crucial, because if not, we're competing against the guy that's 5 miles down the road selling the exact same products and services. So
true.
And you've done a great job of branding yourself. So what do you see, or what advice would you give to somebody who's like, all right, I'm ready. I am no longer putting my face on a bench in a grocery store. I actually posted a video about that, and a lady on YouTube was like, hey, there are some times that putting advertisements on a bench in a grocery store is good for us old people because we're not on the internet. I'm like, you're on the internet right now commenting. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is what's happening. So what advice would you give? Like branding, how do we get started? What do we talk about? What do we not talk about as insurance agents?
That's the first thing. That's a great question, because that's the first thing everybody always thinks about when they're like, well, I don't know, like social media, what should I talk about? You know? And I'm like, you know, what's interesting? If you've listened to this podcast, I didn't share a lot of like old stories. I've shared a little here and there, but I've shared like, I was just at the professionals forum, or we're doing this, or I was on a call earlier downstairs. Like I'm using things in my life that are happening and I'm talking about them, right? And people want to know about what's happening in your life that they can relate to, or they can learn from, or you can share wisdom from, or they can teach you on, or whatever, right? And so, like as an example, I was sitting outside of Starbucks and I Googled how many cups of Starbucks do they sell per day? And it was like 4 million cups or something crazy, right? A day. It was insane. It was a big number. Don't hold me to it. I'm not looking at my phone right now, but you get the idea. And then I pull out my phone. I'm like, and then I show my face and I show Starbucks. I'm like, I'm sitting outside of Starbucks. This place sells 4 million cups a day. Do they have the best coffee in the world? No. But they're quick. I can mobile order, walk and get it. It's typically right most of the time. And they're on every corner. and you know them. You know what I mean? And so, and then I sent it to the team. They edited it and they uploaded it. But I wouldn't have had to edit it. I could have just uploaded that. You know? So I think more people we have messages, we have content. It's just whether we realize that it's content or not.
Yeah.
And the only way is just get started. Like if you're hesitating, just do it. We all suck when we start. I mean, we were just looking at videos the first time we went live back in.
Oh no, we found videos. So we used to be bodybuilders, so we did fitness competitions.
We were looking at that too, yeah.
And we found our videos from 2016 when we were prepping for a fitness show, and we were watching it yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm cringing at like how I look and how I'm showing up. But it took that for me to get comfortable to say the F word on a podcast, right? If I hadn't have done that.
But if you just get started, I mean, we were even at Weaver, because when we created Weaver Sales Academy back in 2018, we recorded over 500 videos. And it took us like 6 months to do this because it's like a training curriculum. And we just redid all the content because it was good, but now it's the Weavers 2.0 5 years later that's been on camera every single day. And so that's my biggest tip is like, just get started. There's only one way and just do it.
Well,
such good feedback. You're at 133 episodes or whatever. Like, dude, anybody's going to get good at doing it that many times, or at least way better. Right?
Yeah.
And so we underestimate what we can do in a year, but we overestimate what we can do in a week, you know? Yep. And y'all been doing this for like a couple of years, year and a half, 2.5, whatever it is. Like, it's a long time, and you're getting better, and you're doing a lot, and you are so comfortable now. Like, you're having fun. You're getting me to say stupid stuff on camera, like, which is because y'all are just really good at like asking good questions, making me talk a bunch, and then then I just ramble until I stop, and then
stop. No, I'm kidding.
See?
Perfect. Perfect.
I love it. You can keep gassing us up all you want.
0 to 100,000. 0 to 100,000. You have a book, right? 0 to right?
0 to 6 figures. Yeah.
Okay. 0 to 6 figures. What is the easiest way for an insurance? I don't even want to talk about an agency owner right now, because you work with in the past. I've worked with agency owners that have teams of 3, 4, 5 years in the business, and they're still not netting $100,000. So regardless if we want to talk about the agency owner, we want to talk about the sales producer himself, what is the easiest way, in your opinion, to get to that 6-figure mark?
I did it by, I'll give a different answer too, but like I did it by seeing 10 people a week, every week, consistently for a whole year, and most, we'll have a good week. It'll be like, oh dude, I made $2,000 this week. Like, I can go take a nap. I don't have to work next week, but no, I was like, dude, I got to do this every week. And so I think one of the biggest things agents can do is they can agency owners, whatever, they can decide that me or my team or whatever, we are going to do this week, whatever X is, we're going to accomplish this, and then write that down every day. And we're like, here's what we're going to do this week. So I used to write down that I ran 10 appointments this week and I made $2,000. And I wrote that every day. And guess what I did most weeks? I ran 10 appointments and I made $2,000, right? And you just do it enough, consistently enough, and it gets easier, it gets better, you get more, you know what I mean? They just get the ball moving. And I just consistently found one number that would impact my business, and I just wrote it down every day. And then I just showed up and did that every day. I mean, one of the reasons I probably struggle now some days is like, I wake up and I'm like, oh gosh, we got a virtual conference Friday. We've got an international trip in a month. We've got the Ultimate Agent show we're recording in 2 weeks. Like, I'm just, just got freaking bajillion projects. And then I just get like paralyzed from where to start. Where a lot of times it's like, why don't we just start here? And why don't we just do this every day, every week, for the whole year, and try to be consistent just for once.
And I saw what you're going to bring up, but I want to touch on this. And you hit on this in the very first part of the podcast. So your goal was simply schedule 15 appointments, meet with 10 at a minimum. That was your goal every week. Is that right?
Correct.
I don't know how much more simple that can be. Like, we tend to overcomplicate things as business owners, as humans. And it's like, you're just getting down to brass tacks. Like, just schedule 15 appointments a week. It's 3 a day. That's not that bad.
But the problem is, the second part of that is it's one thing to know it and it's another thing to do it. And I think there's a lot of components that come into that. But my question to you is, there's a confidence piece that comes from actually like, okay, I suck and I have to learn this and I'm going to learn it. But there's also a discipline piece. So why were you disciplined? Like, there has to be some reason that you're like, all right, I want 6 figures. Like, where did that even come from?
That's a extremely good question that I've rarely been asked. It's funny because I grew up knowing there's Arkansas coming out, and I knew I just
Bring it.
Southern
Let's
Missouri
go.
education,
knowing
man.
Let's go.
I grew up knowing that I was going to. I just had a lot of confidence in myself. I knew I was going to be successful to a degree. My father was, started out not successful at all by any means, but by the time I was starting my career, he was very successful, and that gave me a glimpse of what was possible because what he had done. But I went to him when I was first starting insurance because he's been in the business 33 years. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna, I'm thinking, I feel like I need to set a goal, a target, And he's like, you're gonna make 6 figures your first year. I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's right. I'm going to make 6 figures my first year, And so a lot of times it's somebody else putting something in our head, right? Actually doing something. I can share. I don't have to. I could share it now if you want, but I've got this crazy story that I love sharing that like relates to this topic. That it's like you need people that are pouring into you. You need to be thinking bigger for yourself, And so that created a lot of discipline for me. Just all of those things right there.
It's his belief, and I think that that's incredibly powerful because it can go the other way too. Belief, it can also go into doubt when somebody's like, you'll never be this, you're never going to make this. So was 6 figures even a thing for you until your dad said like, hey, this is what you're going to do?
I mean, I knew I was going to make 6 figures and eventually be a billionaire, but it wasn't until he said it like that. Millionaire.
You just threw it out
Hey,
there.
you just said billionaire, dude.
Well, that's one of my one of my goals now.
Hell
but
yes.
Yeah. See, it is now, but like back then, it definitely was not, right? But now it is. So now it's just flowing out, right? Which is good. Here's one story that I love. It's super short. I'll read it real quick if y'all let me.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's about Thomas Edison. One day as a small child, Thomas Edison came home and gave a paper to his mother. He told her, my teacher gave me this paper and told me to only give it to my mom. His mother's eyes were tearful as she read the letter out loud to her child. Your son's a genius. The school's too small for him. He doesn't have enough good teachers to train him. Please teach him yourself. Many years later, after Edison's mother had died, he was looking through old family things. Now one of the greatest inventors of the century, he suddenly saw a folded piece of paper in the corner of a desk drawer. He took it up and he opened it. On the paper was written, your son is mentally deficient. We won't let him come to school anymore. He is expelled. Edison cried for hours, and then he wrote in his diary, Thomas Alva Edison was a mentally deficient child that by a hero mother became the genius of a century.
Are you trying to make me cry?
That's powerful.
Oh, that's
crazy.
It is powerful, and that just gets me all in my feelings too, because there are so many people. I know you can speak to this, Michael. I know Cody, you can speak to this. I can speak to this too, that believed in us before we believed in ourselves, and how incredibly powerful that is. You spend a lot of time on YouTube, and so I think that can also be leveraged as having virtual mentors, people that you constantly pour into, you're listening to, you're watching. Who are some of your favorite people that really gear your mind towards that $1 billion goal?
Yeah, some of the people I love listening to, Grant Cardone.
GC, baby.
That's right. Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop T.D. Jakes, someone I love listening to. Patrick Bet David. Those are the ones that are coming to mind right off the bat.
That's a hell of a lineup.
Yeah.
And we've had all but, and I'm working on the other two. We've had Cardone and Patrick Bet David at our conference. We've had E.T. at our conference. We haven't had Hormozy or Bishop T.D. Jakes, but I'm working on that, But yeah, I mean, if I look at my, actual YouTube app of who I'm subscribed to, those are some of the top people that I look at and look for,
Love it.
I do too, because I think I think that social media, you can look at it as a bunch of different ways, but I think our ability to access information and to really expand our mind and go, what is possible? What can I do? Who can I listen to? Who can I virtually like get their information? And then all I have to do is take action on it and make it mine. Like how I show up in the world, I think is incredible.
All right. I got a question.
Okay.
What is the most exciting thing you are looking forward to this year, but it cannot be professional?
Yes.
Oh, crap. I had the answer, and then you're like,
all right, one personal, one professional. Let's do it. Let's do it. One personal, one professional.
Okay, all right. I'll give you professional first since it's on my brain. I can't help but go there, right?
I know.
That's a phenomenal question, too. I would say one of the things I'm most looking forward to, we're going to shoot a show, not The Ultimate Agent. We're going to shoot a different show, kind of like Shark Tank for insurance, called Agency Investors at the end of May in this production studio in Dallas. And I'm super excited about that with some big time investors from the industry and then agencies coming on looking for mentorship and capital. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Our team is incredible. They pull off, they take my ideas and actually bring them to life in an incredible way and better than I ever thought they would be, which is cool. That's professional. Personal, I am... Today was 66 days of 65 or 66 days of doing 100 push-ups a day. And so I'm doing 100 push-ups a day, 10,000 steps, and 150 grams of protein on top of my normal personal training. And I thought, because January 1st, I'm like, okay, I need a new challenge. I want to I've always been in decent shape, but I'm like, I want to go another level. I want nutrition to be better. Like I want to just, And so I'm like, what can I do? And so I started thinking about stuff. And most trainers will say dude, if you've had injuries or you just feel stiff or sore or tight hips or whatever, the best way to feel better is to just move, right? Take 10,000 steps a day and your body will just feel better. And so I've been putting more emphasis on my personal health. I did put up a picture a couple weeks ago of no, I'm not a health coach on IG and Facebook. And I'm
was
just
that the one where
good.
you were hulking into the screen, just
That's correct,
dude. I did. I dug it, man. That's the good
Thanks,
stuff,
brother. Dude. You guys were y'all were you talked about the fitness competition. Yeah. Dude, I'm nowhere near that. So you guys could really show me up. But
I'm not anymore either. So don't worry about it.
No, that's when we were your age. Okay, now at our age, we don't do that anymore.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
I love y'all. I love y'all already.
Shoot, dude. Well, that's good, man. You're 6,600 push-ups in this year? That's no joke.
Yeah, man. It's been awesome. It's been really cool. And it just takes the push-ups. It takes 4 minutes. It doesn't take that long. The nutrition. It just takes not eating stupid stuff and putting it in my MyFitnessPal. It takes wearing a Fitbit and tracking your steps. And I went 5,423 steps for the day. And this year I've averaged 100 push-ups a day, about 9,000 steps a day so far, and really close, about 148 grams of protein per day. So, supposed to have 1 gram of protein per pound. I'm 180, 185, so I'm not getting all the way up there, but I'm just feeling better, and I'm feeling just more confident naturally. Health does translate to business way more than people think. So. You guys could actually talk about this topic way better than me, but it's been cool.
Oh, I love it, man. Well, Cody, because I know we got to be wrapping it up. So, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, somebody wanted to follow you,
yeah, where are you hanging out?
What's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you?
Springfield, Missouri. No,
come on, if you're listening to this podcast and you've never been to the great state of Missouri, this is your cue to come visit the Show Me State.
That's right. That's right. Come hang out with the Weavers and the Askins. I would say IG is the easiest place to see behind the scenes, see some stories, see some posts, DM back and forth. I'm not a big Facebook fan. I think it's for negativity and old people, but I still use it some. And I love, and y'all would not qualify. You're way too young for that.
Okay, good. Glad we're clarifying.
And then YouTube, our team does an awesome job of putting out video content. And I love YouTube. I'm big on. And we have our Power Player podcast. We've done just over 100 episodes. I need to get you all on there. I need to return the favor.
Yeah, this has been
what's the podcast
so much
called?
fun.
Power Players.
Okay.
Yeah. It has been fun. This has been awesome. I you know what? And I don't know about y'all, but I prefer to be interviewed than interviewing people. Just because I have to interview people so much. And so this is an awesome change of pace. So thank you.
I love that. I actually like to, I'm so curious that I'm like, no, I'll interview all day long. I'm like, tell me why you are the way you are. I'm so curious. Cody, this has been a blast. If you were listening, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Make sure to give Cody a follow. As always, time is the most valuable asset that we all have. And we appreciate you spending some time with us. Go out and make it great.